everyone, welcome back. We are talking about exfoliants, chemical versus physical, and what is the difference. Let's jump into it. So, in a general sense of things, physical exfoliants are going to be exfoliants that you are doing in the physical. So, that typically means that there's an abrasion of some sort. Now, Kiehl's.com, Kiehl's is a very, very popular brand. They have listed it as chemical exfoliants are generally milder than physical exfoliants, which means they can be used by those with sensitive skin or darker skin tones that may be more prone to scarring. Because chemical exfoliants don't manually remove skin, there's less risk of overdoing it and ending up with skin irritation. Now I agree with this. I support this. In that particular ordeal in and of itself, yes. As it pertains to the chemical versus the chemical piece of it can be milder, and it can also be in the form of cleansers, toners, or serums that you'll also see. Now, there are a variety of items. What I can say, the most popular exfoliants for chemical that I see used by clients are, the first one being Paula's Choice. And I'm going to put it up because it is a super, super popular one. They do have a variety of sizes, including a mini. The mini's around like 13 bucks. And it definitely gets the job done. That one is a 1 ounce. They do have it in an 8 ounce for 56 bucks, and they have it in a 4 ounce for 35. Again, definitely the results that folks have seen in that continues to have them come back. And it is one of those that perhaps ends up being a fan favorite go-to. Now, another one that is a fan favorite go-to is that by The Ordinary. And this one is particularly classified as a peel. This particular peel, if you've seen it here, and I'm going to say it because that's what a lot of folks attribute it to, it actually looks like blood. It is a very, very deep red in there in the item in and of itself. So here you'll see it. Again, the bottle is kind of clear. It is a super, super deep red, and it does appear very much to that of blood. In and of itself, it advises that you apply a thin layer, leave on no longer than 10 minutes, again, and then rinse off. This is definitely one of those things within the first 2 to 3 weeks you should be able to see your skin perhaps, at least in texture, to be able to be more clear and see if that is perhaps a good fit for you. Now, if you're looking for a toner version, The Ordinary does also have a toner in this particular lineup as well as an exfoliant. This particular one does also come in 2 different sizes. They have what's called the glycolic acid 7% exfoliating toner. This one here goes for around 13 bucks. That's the 8 ounce size, and then $8 and around 70 cents for the 3.38 size at the time of filming this video. So if you were looking for something, again, in the more chemical route, that is perhaps the way to go about it. Now, when we talk about the physical is going to actually be, again, as you saw from Kiehl's, physically removing the dead skin to help, again, relieve newer or fresher skin underneath, evening skin tone, and ultimately getting clearer, softer, smoother skin. As mentioned, here in the physical exfoliation process involves the physical, quote, abrasion in the form of small granules and beads, a washcloth, or a brush. So what you'll see here in this particular one, a lot of folks love to use a body brush. I am recently getting into the body brush craze in and of itself, and I absolutely love it. There are different forms of body brushes. You can use body brushes as like a, quote, a wet body brush or even a dry body brush. I have seen that as well. But in and of itself, physical exfoliation could be with a washcloth. It could be with a loofah, right? It could also be in the form, again, with the abrasion piece, like a physical scrub. Now, what I will say is, as it pertains to the scrubs are not created equally. It's one of those, it's very, very difficult to be able to explain that in and of itself. But because the scrubs are different, you have to find the best scrub for you. What I would recommend is the scrub by Raw Sugar. Now, they have a few scrubs here. More specifically, this particular one is Raw Sugar Scrub. Here, also listed as an exfoliant and Nourish to Renew. This particular one I absolutely love. The granules in and of itself are very, very soft, smooth, and refined, and it works and it makes sense. However, if you do have far more sensitive skin and you still like to try the scrub route, they do have what's called whipped scrub. This is not sponsored content. This is my use and messing around with scrubs just in and of itself, and also what I have seen from clients to be able to say, hey, they prefer these products over these products here in and of itself, especially for the price point. This is definitely a better bang for your buck. Both of these items are 15 fluid ounces, So that is that for you. And I want to say they're around 15 bucks or so each, at least at the time of filming this. But in the whipped scrub, it does say it's a gentle exfoliation for sensitive skin. And here, a lightly scented Luxe blend made with avocado oil for sickly, well-nourished, and beautifully buffed skin. This particular scent here is in green tea plus cucumber and aloe vera. Now, this particular one in the whip scrub only comes in a couple different scents. So that's the only part probably sucks about that one. But aside from that, if you're listening, definitely expand your lineup. Aside from that, I would definitely recommend these two here. Now, a few other ones that I have tried specifically for the body would be the Tree Hut. And I think the Tree Hut piece is interesting because the granules in the product are very, very large and thick. So I think definitely if you have sensitive skin and you're looking for something that's going to be a bit more refined, perhaps this is not the product for you. Now, another thing to consider is the scrub that you're perhaps using for your face is not necessarily the scrub you should be using for your body. If it works out well for you and that's something that your body can tolerate, great. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily say that if you had concerns with having a scrub on the body that you would have the same for the face and vice versa. I would say perhaps try a different formulation of scrub. One for sensitive and gentle skin, I see it from Fenty Beauty. She also has another one in the cherry scent. I have tried that one as well. I prefer her body scrub, but as it pertains to the face scrub, the granules in it are super, super tiny, and it does get the job done. But if you're used to having a thicker, heavier scrub, I think you will be disappointed with that particular product. Two other items that I would recommend for face scrubs. One will be the Peter Thomas Roth. That is actually one of my tried and trues. It's currently what I'm using now again for the face, and it is something that I do see clients to come back and come back and come back and continue to purchase. It is definitely one of those it products. Another product is the scrub from Huda Beauty. Now, the scrub from Huda Beauty for the face scrub is not sold everywhere. Not sure what that's about, but it is on her website. I've also seen it on Sephora.com and certain Sephora locations. It is not sold everywhere there. So that is the piece for the physical and the scrub. Lean into part number 2. How often should you use the scrub? Now, this is going to depend on your skin type. Is your skin more dry? Do you consider yourself to have normal skin? Or is perhaps your skin more oily? Now, if your skin is perhaps more dry, doing a physical exfoliant in and of itself could perhaps be too much. Let's say in this scenario, you go with the chemical exfoliant and maybe consider that to be used once a week. That is something typically what clients are advised and what folks tend to do, and it appears to be something that works for them, provided they find the correct exfoliant for their skin. Now, normal skin types can go perhaps 2 to 3 times with exfoliant throughout the week, and it perhaps clears out pores, even skin tone and or texture, and is a good fit for them. However, if you do have oily skin, that could definitely be maybe where you want to get into the more physical exfoliation so you can see the results perhaps far more quicker and to be able to see the turnaround and the actual, I don't want to say breakdown, but the actual processing of the exfoliant working. Individuals with super oily skin may be able to go 3, even 4 days a week with the exfoliation to be able to get the skin results that they are looking for. Coming into number 3, price point. So price does matter. I know a lot of folks, the biggest saying is you get what you pay for. And in this particular scenario, as it pertains to a lot of the exfoliant products, this is true. Of course, there are some brands more than others where some individuals say, you know what, I like the product. I don't know if it's quote worth that price, but here's the breakdown of it. As an advisor, I'm here to tell you that price oftentimes in certain beauty and or chemical products is there for a reason. Sometimes it's packaging, sometimes it's how it comes together, but other times it is actually the percentage of the active ingredient in the product, and that is a biggie. So let's say an example, you tried Paula's Choice, and Paula's Choice has X number percentage of active ingredient, and your skin tolerated it really, really well. Maybe that's in and around the percentage of said active ingredient that you need in a form of a chemical exfoliant, right? So same thing with the physical. If you're going into the type of physical exfoliant, whether you're going to use a loofah. If a loofah works for you, great. If you're going to go in with something a little more abrasive like the scrub, again, like I mentioned earlier, scrubs are not created equally. The Tree Hut brand, in and of itself, like I said, I've used the body, I've also used the face. What I will mention about the face and the body is, in my humble opinion, that's the same product in different packaging. Something about that, the granules in and of itself were very thick, very coarse, very dense, and far more thick and coarse and dense, in my opinion, than that is needed for an average face. But for the body, I think it's dope. I think it's fine. Now, as it pertains to other brands, when I mentioned Peter Thomas Raw, the granules in there are far more fine, are far more refined, and it actually is in a solution that is far more silkier. And after going from, let's say, a Peter Thomas Raw product to maybe consider like a Tree Hut product, I think you would have a difficult time transitioning and perhaps feel it's not a good route for you. But let's look at price point. So this is one of my Peter Thomas Raw. This one I am actually just finishing. I already got my backup, don't worry. But I'm just finishing her. See, she is beat up because she is used and abused. This is in the 3.4 size, and this particular size at the time of filming this video is $49. Now it also comes in a 1 ounce size for $16. Look at the reviews. It looks to be about 4.5 stars in here, and almost 60,000 people have mentioned to have loved the product. Now, this particular item in and of itself is what's classified, if you will, as it pertains to price point, on the middle to, of course, higher end scale of things for what the average person is looking to spend for a product. However, if you're like myself, if there's a great product and it works for you, either one, why change it? Or perhaps two, you consider that it's worth the price point being paid. It does mention here that it is good for uneven texture, good for loss of firmness, hyaluronic acid, and good for pores. Now, the other products by Tree Hut that I had actually picked up was one, this is what they call Tree Hut. This is the Vitamin C Shea Sugar Scrub. This is in 18 ounces, so you get a lot of product in here. This particular one is in the face. This particular one is in the body. I do also have the face. It's not quite this big in and of itself. What I will say though is the Shea Sugar Scrub, and I also had a watermelon as well. I absolutely love the scent. Absolutely love the scent. But again, the granules in and of itself are very, very coarse. This particular product, I have seen at Ulta, and I have also seen it at Target. More specifically in Ulta, they did have a wider variety of items, if you will, as it pertained to like a body wash, some hair care products, shampoos, scrubs, lip balms. I've also picked up a balm in and of itself, and I thought they were cool. Now, the sugar scrub that I mentioned there comes up right now on the Ulta website in and around $10.49. They also have, like I mentioned, the other body washes there, as well as moisturizing shave oil and body butters. But what I will mention, again, when I tap into that price point there, you're looking at, $10 price point to a $50 price point item. You cannot possibly expect to have the same quality and or consistency in and of the product and for the brand to be able to make a profit. That's just not the business of this. That's just not what this is. So, and as always, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and what is your favorite type of exfoliant. Leave those comments down below and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.